First thing we're going to look at are the 4 feet here. The hands, look at that. Look at how big that hand is.
All right, guys, I'm going in.
Now, these salamanders have 4 toes on the front feet, and on the back
There's the head.
5 toes. Check that out.
Look at it. It's the size of a cantaloupe.
Are about as big in width as my fingers. Holding hands with the Japanese giant salamander. Salamander is incredibly healthy. When you get down to here, you'll notice all of the muscle in this tail. It is just a solid mass of power. Look at that. A large rudder that helps this animal.
The giant
move
salamander is considered a special national monument by the Japanese government. And for centuries, it has lurked in the shadows of myth and lore.
They're actually able to absorb oxygen.
Ranking as the second largest salamander species in the world, they can grow to lengths of nearly 5 feet, classifying them as monstrous in the world of amphibians.
Now, these salamanders have 4 toes on the front feet.
The Brave Wilderness team and I had the incredible honor of working alongside renowned salamander expert Dr. Sumio Okada,
holding hands,
and we traveled deep into the wilds of the Tottori Prefecture to find and collect biometric data
when you get down to
on
here,
these
you'll
elusive
notice
river
all
dragons.
of the muscle in this tail. It is just a solid mass of power. Look at that.
Wow, look at that. Have you ever seen an amphibian of that size?
If it needs to escape from a predator. Now look at these flaps.
Due to their vulnerable
the
status
and
strict licensing,
able to absorb
only Okada-sensei was allowed to catch and handle the wild specimens. Yet when it comes to giants in captivity, the regulations are a bit more flexible.
Now, these salamanders
Today we are visiting the Hanzaki Research Institute of Japan.
5 toes. Check that out.
For over a decade, their mission has been to research and help to ensure the survival of the Japanese giant salamander.
Salamander is incredibly healthy.
In the field,
get down to here,
I did my best to learn all I could from Okada-sensei. My diligence toward being a good student in the art of giant salamander research ultimately earned my teacher's trust. I was given the invitation to assist in the yearly data collection for the Institute's oldest, largest, and most cherished salamander, the great Osanchiro.
First thing we're going to look at are...
Alright, so Okada-sensei said, wait right here. He's going up there into the enclosure to check on the salamander. Now this is one of the largest Japanese giant salamanders ever found that is currently on record. He tells me it is absolutely enormous. It's going to dwarf anything that we saw in the field. I'm super excited. I can barely contain myself right now because I'm going to be able to get hands-on with this animal to help with the measurements. So the role is going to sort of be reversed here. I'm going to be collecting the measurements. Okada-sensei is going to be writing them down. Are you guys ready for this? We're going to see one of the largest Japanese giant salamanders ever seen.
Flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body.
Oh no, he's holds weight right here.
They're actually able to absorb oxygen through those flaps, which helps them to breathe underwater. First thing we're going to look at are the 4 feet.
All right, ready?
The hands. Look at
We're ready.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, guys.
Now, these salamanders have 4 toes on the front feet.
You guys nervous?
And on the back feet,
I don't know, I'm excited.
5 toes. Check that out.
Following in the footsteps of my teacher, we ascended a flight of stairs and entered the paddock of this ancient creature.
Giant salamander.
Its fenced and fortified containment area wasn't necessarily designed to keep the salamander in, but instead was designed to keep any potential predators out.
Now, Okada-sensei has quarantined the biggest one down in one enclosure for us, so it's easier to find, easier for us to catch and collect.
Now look at these flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body here. They're actually able to absorb oxygen through those flaps, which helps them to breathe underwater. First thing we're going to look at are the 4 feet here. The hands, look at that.
That is a giant
Now, these salamanders have 4 toes.
All right, so what we're going to do is actually enter into the enclosure. We'll peel back these boards, gently get the salamander out into the open water. We're going to have to get it into a net and then up here to collect the biometric data, but we'll spend a couple minutes there inside the enclosure to sort of look at some of its features and just be in awe of what this creature is.
All of the muscle in this tail. It is just a solid
I'll let you go in first.
Look at that.
I'm going to leave my pack
Large
up
rudder
here,
that helps this animal move through the environment and also to quickly maneuver itself if it needs to escape from a predator. Now look at these flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body here. They're actually able to absorb oxygen through those flaps,
cold
which
water.
helps them to breathe underwater. First thing we're going to look at are the 4 feet here.
There you go, Mario.
Look at that. Look at how big that hand is. Now, these salamanders have 4 toes on the front feet.
Before we get the salamander out of there, let me see if I can get a shot of it
And
with the
those
GoPro
digits
just hunkered down
about
here.
as
So
big
it's
and
right
width as
under
my
here,
fingers.
right?
Look at that.
Okay.
Holding hands.
Let's try to move really,
with a
really slowly
Japanese
so that we
giant
don't
salamander.
muddy the water.
Salamander is incredibly
We want
healthy.
to try to keep it as clear as possible.
When you get down
You're
to
gonna
here,
have to
you'll
just
notice
go
all of the muscle.
sort of just go
in this
blind
tail.
on
It
this
is just
here.
a solid mass of power.
Hopefully,
Look at that.
the camera
Large rudder
is
that helps the
picking
animal
up
move through the environment,
the salamander.
and also to quickly
You can
maneuver itself
see
if it
Yeah,
needs to
maybe
escape
backwards,
from
the
the
word
predator.
tail's coming out
Now look
back.
at
a
these
lot of
flaps of
debris in
skin
there.
that run
Oh,
along
oh,
the sides
I
of
see
the
it
body
right
here. They're
Really
actually
starting to
able
come
to
up
absorb
back.
oxygen through those flaps,
Well,
which helps them to breathe.
maybe we're
underwater.
getting a
First thing
shot.
we're going to look at
Tough to
are
tell.
the 4 feet here.
There it is.
The
It's right
hands.
there.
Look at that. Look how big that hand is.
Goodness, it is
Now, these
huge.
salamanders
That
have
is
4
just
toes on
its
the
tail.
front feet.
Its tail
and
is
on the
like
back
the size
feet,
of a
they have 5
canoe
toes.
paddle.
Check that out.
This is the largest
digits
amphibian I have
about
ever
as
seen
big
in my
and width
life.
as my fingers.
It's time to reveal the beast.
Holding
You ready?
hands with a Japanese giant
You do the
salamander.
rocks?
Salamanders
I'll
are
get the board.
incredibly healthy.
Okay.
When you get down to here, you'll notice all of
Guys,
the
this
muscle
is something
in
that
this
is
tail.
done
It is
once
just
a year,
solid
removing the salamander
mass
from
of power.
the breeding
Look at
paddock
that.
to collect its biomass.
Large rudder that helps
This
the
is a
animal
very
move
special
through
day,
the
an
environment,
incredible honor
and
for all
also
of
to
us to be a
quickly
part of
maneuver
this
itself
process.
if it needs to escape from the predator. Now look at these flaps of skin that run
You ready?
along the
This is
sides
it, yeah.
of the body here. They're actually able to absorb oxygen through those flaps, which helps them to breathe underwater. First thing we're going to look at are the 4 feet here. Are the hands. Look at the size of how big that hand is.
There's the head. There's the
Now,
head.
these salamanders have 4
Look at
toes
it.
on
The size of a
front feet,
cantaloupe.
and on the back
Whoa.
feet, they have
My
5 toes. Check that out.
Goodness, that is
And
a
those digits
monstrous
are
salamander.
about as big and
So
width
much
as
bigger
my
than I thought.
fingers.
Wait,
Look
there's
at
2.
Yeah, there's a
Holding
smaller
hands
one in here.
with a Japanese
Smaller
giant
one in here. There's
salamander.
another one over here, but that
Salamander
is the big
incredibly
guy.
healthy.
Okada Sensei, so what's the
When
best
you get down to here, you'll
plan
notice
from here?
all
Is
of
it
the
okay
muscle
for me to
in this
go in
tail.
and
It is just
bring
a
the salamander around to
solid
the side?
mass of power.
Yeah,
Look at that.
and
Large
catch.
rudder that helps this animal move through the environment, and also to quickly maneuver itself if it needs to escape from the predator.
Now here's a question.
Look at these
Before we
flaps
get
of
it
skin
in the
that
net,
run
can you
along
bring it
the
up here
sides of the
tonight?
body here.
Slightly
They're
lift it to
actually
reveal
able
it to
to
the
absorb
camera.
oxygen through those
Yeah,
flaps,
okay,
which
before we
helps them
put
to
it in the
breathe
net, because
underwater.
once it's in the
First
net,
thing
it'll
we're
be
gonna
really
look
hard
at
to
are
see.
The 4 feet
Actually
here.
move the smaller
The
one
hands,
into
look
the
at
next
how big that hand
tube
is.
here.
Now, these salamanders have 4 toes on the front feet, and on the back feet, they have 5 toes. Check that out.
feeling.
And those digits are about as big in width as my fingers. Look at that. Holding hands with a Japanese giant salamander.
This is the first contact
Salamander is
I've made with
incredibly
one of these
healthy.
salamanders. It is incredible.
When you get down to here, you'll notice
Big guy.
all of the muscle in this tail. It is just a solid mass of power. Look at that. A large rudder that helps this animal move through the environment, and also to quickly maneuver itself if it needs to escape from the predator. Now look at these flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body here. They're actually able to absorb oxygen through those
Absolute
flaps,
giant.
which helps them to breathe
What an
underwater. First thing we're
ancient
gonna look
creature,
at are
a living
the 4
fossil.
feet here.
This animal is
The hands,
well
look
over
at that.
100 years
Look how big
of
that
age.
hand is. Now, these salamanders have 4 toes on the front feet, and on the back feet, they have 5 toes. Check that out.
Oh, he's so
And those
slimy.
digits,
Impossible to
about as big in
hold
width
on
as
to.
my fingers.
That's why we have to use a dip net to
Holding
actually get
hands
it out of here. Not
with a
only is it
Japanese
strong,
giant
it is also
salamander.
incredibly
Salamander
slippery.
is incredibly
All right, so we're
healthy.
gonna gently, there we go.
When you get down to here, you'll notice all of
Okay,
the
the
muscle
salamander
in
is
this tail.
safely
It is just
inside
a solid
of the dip net.
mass
So
of
I'm going to
power.
go up,
Look at
and
that.
Okada Sensei is going to
Large
pass
rudder
the
that helps this
giant
animal
up
move
to
through the
me.
environment, and also to quickly maneuver itself if it needs to escape from
Got
the
it?
predator. Now look at these flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body here.
Yep.
They're actually able to absorb oxygen through those flaps, which helps them to breathe underwater. First thing we're going to look at are the 4 feet here.
It is strong.
The hand.
It
Look
is
at that.
heavy.
Look how big that hand is.
Wow.
Now,
All
these
right,
salamanders
that is
have
me
4 toes on
cradling
the
a
front feet, and on
Japanese
the back feet,
giant
they have 5
salamander.
toes. Check that out. And those digits are about as
Tail
big
first?
in width as my fingers. Look at that.
Head first.
Holding
Okay, so
hands
this
with
oh,
a
this end
Japanese
opens up.
giant salamander. Salamander is incredibly healthy.
There we go.
When you get down to here, you'll notice all
do
of
have to
the
be
muscle
careful that
in
I'm
this
not
tail.
bitten.
It is just a
They do
solid
have
mass of
extremely
power.
sharp
Look at
teeth,
that.
and this is a very
Large
large
rudder
animal.
that helps this animal move through the
gently
environment,
get this
and also
opened
to
up.
quickly maneuver
Gently
itself
slide
if it
out
needs to
this
escape
end.
from the predator. Now look
we
at
go.
these flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body. They're actually
Look at
able
that
to
giant
absorb
python.
oxygen through those flaps, which helps them to breathe
Wow.
underwater. First thing we're going to look at are
Okay, get my hand underneath the
here.
jaw.
The hands. Look at
There
that.
we go. Okay, I'm going to gently slide it down
Now,
here,
these
Okada
salamanders
Sensei.
have 4 toes
so
on
we
the
can
front feet.
fully
And on the back feet,
reveal
they have 5 toes. Check that out.
the salamander.
Those
There we go.
digits
so slippery. The layer of mucus that coats their bodies is
it's
just like
Japanese giant salamander.
It's like snot. Now we want to put as little stress on the creature as possible.
When you get down to here, you'll notice
quickly
all
collect
of
the biometric data,
get
get a couple of cool shots, and then release it right back into the enclosure. But let's just take one
helps this
second
animal move
to
through the
admire
environment
the design
and also to quickly
this
maneuver
animal's
itself if
body.
it needs
Look
to
at how
escape
wide
from
it
the
is.
predator.
Look at the head.
Now look at these flaps of
And you know
skin that
what?
run along the sides of the body here.
Can't even
They're
see
actually
the
able
eyes.
to
The eyes
absorb
are right up
oxygen
front here.
through those flaps,
such
which helps
teeny
them to breathe
tiny
underwater.
little
First thing we're
eyes.
going to look at are the 4 feet here, the hands. Look at that. Look at how big that hand is. Now, these salamanders have 4 toes on the front
bigger than your head.
It
on the
is.
back feet.
I feel like my
they have
entire
5
head
toes.
could
Check
fit
that
inside
out.
of its mouth,
And those
but
digits
that's not a place that you
are
want
about
to
as
find
big in
yourself.
width as my
Look at the
fingers.
tail.
Holding hands
Enormous.
with a Japanese
Absolutely
giant
enormous.
salamander.
So much power in this
Salamanders
animal, and when I was
incredibly
cradling
healthy.
it as it came up out of
When
the
you get down to
enclosure,
here,
you
you'll
feel
notice
just
all
how
of the
strong
muscle in this
it
tail.
truly
It is
was.
just a
Okay, so
solid
the first thing
mass of
we're going to end up
power.
getting
Look
is
at
the
that.
total length
Large
of the
runner
animal.
that helps this animal
Oh, you
move
hear
through
that
the
noise it's
environment
making?
and also to
It's like a
quickly maneuver
rumbling.
itself if it needs to escape from a predator. Now look at these flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body here. They're actually able to absorb oxygen through those
Okay, cool.
flaps,
Kinda
which
got 'em
helps
in a
them
good
to
position
breathe
to get the
underwater.
total
First thing we're going to look
length
at
here.
are the 4 feet
Right there?
here.
Okay.
The hands.
We're just
Look
going to
at
go
that.
with this
Look
here.
how big that hand
We
is.
are at
Now, these salamanders
49
have 4
and a
toes
half.
on the front feet.
49
and on the back
and a half
feet,
is what it
they have
appears.
5 toes. Check
In
that
centimeters, that
out.
is
Those digits are about as big in width
126
as my
centimeters.
fingers. Look at that.
Wow,
Holding
that is
hands
a giant.
with a Japanese
Okay,
giant
so we're
salamander.
not going to do the
Salamander's
snout to vet
incredibly
length. It's
healthy.
too much to put this animal on its
When you
back
get down
to
to
that
here, you'll
measurement.
notice
So
all
the
of the
next
muscle
thing we're
in
going to
this
do is
tail.
get
It
the
is
head
just
width
a
and also
solid
the tail
mass
height,
of power.
and
Look at
finally
that.
its body weight. We've
Large
got some
rudder
rain
that helps
rolling
this
in, so
animal
we're going to
move
have
through
to
the
do this quickly,
environment
guys.
and also
I'm
to
gonna get the
quickly
tail height
maneuver
first.
itself if it
I'm gonna
needs to
do that at
escape
the
from a predator.
highest
Now look at
point,
these flaps of
if
skin that
possible.
run along the sides of the body here.
Is
They're
right
actually
at
able to absorb
14.
oxygen through
14
those flaps,
centimeters?
which helps them to breathe underwater. First thing we're going to look at are the 4 feet.
21.
Here. The hands.
All right, head
Look at
width
that. Look at how big that
21
hand is.
centimeters.
Now,
Absolutely
these salamanders have 4
dwarfs
toes on the front
the giant
feet,
that we caught.
and on the back feet,
All right,
they have
so
5
the next
toes.
thing
Check
to
that
do,
out.
body weight.
And those
Okay, so
digits
how do we get the body
are
weight?
about as big in width
put
as
it in
my fingers. Look at that.
Okay, put it inside
Holding
the blue
hands
container and then put that
with
on
a
top of this.
Japanese
Okay,
giant
great.
salamander. Salamander is incredibly healthy.
So we're putting a little bit of water inside
when you get down
of
to
the
here,
container
you'll
just
notice
to keep
all
the
of the
salamander
muscle in this
hydrated.
tail. It is just
You don't
a
want its skin to
solid
stick to the
mass
basin.
of power. Look at that. A large rudder that helps this animal move through the environment.
All right, so we're
and
saying
also
that the
to
weight of the
quickly maneuver
container
itself
with
if
the
it
water
needs to
is
escape from a
16
predator.
kilograms.
Now look at
We'll
these
put the
flaps of skin
salamander
that run along
inside
the
and
sides
then
of the body
subtract
here.
that
They're
weight
actually
from
able to absorb
16.
oxygen through those flaps, which helps them to breathe
Okay, lie down
underwater.
next
First
to
thing
it
we're
real
going to look at are
It's almost impossible to comprehend
The
how big this
hands.
thing is.
Look
You're
at
right,
that.
unless
Look
we
how
get
big
something
that hand
like a
is.
human next to it for scale.
Now, these salamanders have
Look at
4
that.
toes on the front feet, and on the back feet, they have 5 toes. Check that out. And those digits are about as big in width
All right,
as
now
my
this,
fingers.
we have to
Look
do
at
this
that.
quickly and
Holding
very
hands
gently because
with a Japanese
it's
giant
very, very
salamander.
slippery. So
Salamander is incredibly
little
healthy.
chance for error is possible.
When you get down to here, you'll notice all of the muscle in his tail. It is just a solid mass of power. Look at that. A large rudder that helps this animal move through the environment and also to quickly maneuver itself if it needs to escape from a predator. Now look at these flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body here. They're actually able to absorb oxygen through those flaps, which helps them to
For
breathe
the main
underwater.
episode
First thing
the other
we're gonna
night, we were in the field and we had
the
a
4
small
feet here.
container.
The hands.
This is as
Look
big
at
as
that.
it
Look
gets.
how big that hand is.
So why is this giant
Now,
salamander
these
in
salamanders
captivity?
have 4 toes on the
Great
front
question.
feet, and on the back
Many
feet,
years ago,
they have
during the
5
building
toes.
of a
Check that
bridge
out.
system,
And those
its
digits
home was destroyed.
are about as big in
The animal
width
was
as my
accidentally
fingers. Look at
injured
that.
by a piece of heavy
Holding
machinery.
hands with a
The
Japanese
construction team
giant
quickly
salamander.
realized what they had found
Salamander is
and
incredibly
immediately
healthy.
alerted the Hanzaki Institute.
When you get down to here, you'll notice
The good
all of
news
the muscle
is
in
that
this
the
tail. It
salamander
is just
survived.
A solid
The bad
mass
news
of power.
is that its
Look
home
at
was
that.
destroyed,
Large
and as a
rudder that
displaced
helps this
animal of this
move through the
size and
environment,
stature,
and also
it
to
was
quickly
decided that
maneuver
the
itself
great
if it needs to
Osanchiro
escape from a
should be
predator.
kept in
Now look at these
captivity.
flaps of skin that
So that
run
just goes
along
to
the
show you
sides of the
guys
body
that
here.
even if an
They're actually
animal
able
like
to
this
absorb
loses
oxygen
an appendage,
through those
something
flaps,
like
which
its
helps them to
foot
breathe
or its
underwater.
toes,
First thing
it
we're going to
still
look
has
at
the
are
ability to
the
survive
4
against
feet
all
here.
odds. I mean,
The
this is
hands.
considered a
Look at that.
national
Look how big
treasure right here. When you look at an animal like
Now,
this,
the
you think to yourself,
salamanders
wow,
have 4
this
toes
has been on
on
the
the front
planet
feet,
longer than
and on
most
the
of
back
us.
feet,
It is
they have
certainly
5 toes.
something
Check
that
that
needs
out.
to be
Those
preserved,
digits
needs to be cherished
about
and
as
honored.
big in width
And
as
it's
my
really cool that the
fingers. Look at
salamander is now a part of the
Holding
breeding program
hands
here
with a
at the
Japanese
Holarctic
giant
Institute.
salamander.
All right, you guys ready to get the weight?
Incredibly
Yep, let's get
healthy.
the weight.
Okay, so hands
when
off.
you get down to here,
of
you'll
the
notice
container.
all
We've got
of
a
the
perfectly
muscle
balanced
in this tail. It is
salamander
just
on
a
the scale,
solid
and we are
mass
at
of
just
power.
about
Look at that.
30 kilograms.
Large
Remember, we
rudder
need
that
to take
helps this
16
animal
away
move
from
through the
that. So
environment, and also
14
to quickly
kilograms
maneuver
is the
itself
weight
if it
of
needs
this
to escape
amphibian.
from a predator.
An
Now look at these
absolute
flaps of skin
giant.
that run along the sides of the
Cannot
body
believe
here.
it. Never
They're
thought that
actually
I would
able to
see
absorb
a
oxygen
salamander
through
of
those
this
flaps,
size.
which helps them to breathe
Man,
underwater.
so
First thing we're going to look at are
Right.
the 4
Cool.
feet
Do we want to look
here.
at some of its interesting
The
characteristics?
hands, look at
Sure,
that.
yeah,
Look
let's
how
take it
big
back
that
down off
hand
of the
is.
scale. We've only got a couple
Now,
more
these
minutes
salamanders
with
have
it, and
4
we gotta get
toes
it
on
back
the
into
front
its
feet,
enclosure.
and on the back feet, they have 5 toes. Check that out. And those digits are about as big in width as my fingers. Look at that. Holding hands.
All right, guys, now the
with a
last
Japanese
thing we need to do
giant
is sort of
salamander.
just examine
Salamander
the
is
salamander's
incredibly
features,
healthy.
make sure its feet and
When you get
all
down
the
to here,
aspects
you'll
of its
notice
body
all
are
of
in
the
really good
muscle
shape.
in this
So,
tail. It is just
the first
a
thing we're going to
solid
look at are
mass
the 4
of power.
feet
Look
here.
at that.
The hands,
Large
look at
rudder
that.
that helps
Look
this
how
animal
big that
move through
hand
the
is.
environment, and also
Now,
to
these
quickly
salamanders
maneuver
have 4
itself if
toes
it
on the
needs to
front
escape
feet,
from a predator.
and on the back
Now look
feet,
at these
they
flaps
have
of
5
skin
toes.
that
Check
run
that
along
out.
the sides of the
And those
body.
digits
They're actually
are about
able
as
to
big in
absorb
width as my
oxygen
fingers.
through
Look at
those
that.
flaps, which helps
Holding
them to breathe
hands
underwater.
with a
First thing we're gonna
Japanese
look at
giant
are
salamander.
the 4 feet
Salamander is
here.
incredibly
The
healthy.
hands, look at that. Look at how big
When you get
that
down to
hand
here,
is.
you'll notice all of the
Now,
muscle
these
in
salamanders
this
have
tail.
4
It is
toes
just
on
a
the front feet,
solid
and on the back
mass
feet,
of
they
power.
have 5
Look at
toes.
that.
Check that out. A large
And those
rudder that
digits
helps this animal
are
move
about
through
as
the
big in
environment,
width as my
and also
fingers.
to
Look at
quickly
that.
maneuver itself
Holding
if it needs to
hands
escape from
with a
a predator.
Japanese
Now look
giant
at these
salamander.
flaps of skin that run along the
Salamander is
sides of the
incredibly
body
healthy.
here. They're actually able to absorb
When you get down to
oxygen
here, you'll notice
through those
all of
flaps,
the
which
muscle
helps them
in
to
this
breathe
tail. It
underwater.
is just a
As we know, they
solid
also have
mass
lungs. Actually,
of
was just
power.
blowing some
Look at
bubbles
that.
up front there. A large rudder
this
that
animal
helps this
breathes
animal
through its
move
skin.
through the environment.
It can.
and
Of
also
course,
to
they
quickly
have
maneuver
lungs. They
itself
do
if it
come to
needs
the
to
surface
escape
to get a
from
big
predator.
gulp of air,
Now look at
but
these
they can
flaps
stay
of skin that
submerged
run
for
along the
hours at a
sides of the
time,
body.
especially when the
They're
males are
actually able
defending
to
the den.
absorb
As you
oxygen
know, the
through
males
those
are
flaps,
oftentimes
which
called
helps them to
den
breathe
masters.
underwater.
They
First thing
protect
we're
the
going to
eggs,
look
they
at
protect the
are
larvae.
the 4 feet here. The hands.
So, Coyote,
look
what
at
is
that.
the-
Look at how
what does it
big
feel
that
like?
hand is. Like a big,
Now, these
wet,
salamanders have
muscular
4
slinky.
toes on
Go
the
ahead,
front
Mark.
feet,
Reach down in
and
there.
on
Get
the
some
back
water on your
feet,
hands
they have
first.
5 toes. Check that
Just
out.
give it a little pet.
And
Feel
those
the skin.
digits
Very
are about
dense,
as big
right?
in width as my
wow.
fingers. Look at that. Holding
A lot
hands
different than actually I
with a
imagine it
Japanese
being a lot
giant
slimier.
salamander.
It's not that slimy.
Yeah,
Salamanders
no, but they do
incredibly
secrete
healthy.
more
mucus if they're feeling stressed.
When you get down
so
to
it's
here,
really
you'll
good. You can
notice
see the
all
animal's
of the muscle
completely
in
calm
this
at this
tail.
point.
It is just a
keeping it in a little bit of
solid
water, helps
mass
keep it
of
hydrated.
power.
Look at that.
All right, well, I think we have
large
collected
rudder
all
that
the
helps this animal
necessary
move
data,
through
which
the
means
environment,
it is time
and also
for
to
us
quickly
see if we
maneuver
get this
itself if it
salamander
needs to
back
escape
into
from a
its
predator. Now look at these flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body here. They're actually able to absorb oxygen through those flaps, which helps them to breathe underwater. First thing we're going to look at are the 4 feet here. The hands. That never gets any easier. Hand is. Now, these salamanders have 4 toes on the front feet, and on the back feet, they have 5 toes. Check that out. And those digits are about as big in width as my fingers.
All right, got him.
Holding hands with a Japanese giant salamander. Salamander is incredibly healthy. When you get down to here, you'll notice all of the muscle in this tail. It is just a solid mass of power. Look at that. You ready? Yeah. Large rudder that helps this animal move through the environment, and also to quickly maneuver itself if it needs to escape from a predator. Now look at these flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body.
Okada Sensei,
They're actually
thank you
able to
so
absorb
much
oxygen
for giving
through
us the
those
chance
flaps,
to get
which
up
helps them
close
to breathe
with this
underwater.
national
First thing we're going to look
treasure.
at are
What an
the
incredible
4
day
feet
for the
here.
brave wilderness crew,
The
and a
hands,
true
look at
honor
that. Look
to
how
work
big
with
that
this
hand is.
salamander here in Japan.
Now, these salamanders
I'm Coyote
have 4 toes on
Peterson.
the
Be
front
brave.
feet, and on the back feet,
Stay
they have
wild.
5 toes. Check
We'll
that
see you
out.
on the next
And
adventure.
those digits are about as big in width as my fingers.
All
Look
right,
at
I'm getting out of this cold water.
holding hands with a Japanese giant salamander.
Working alongside
Salamanders
Okada Sensei in the
incredibly
field
healthy.
and getting hands-on
When you
with
get down to
Japanese
here, you'll
giant
notice all of
salamanders
the muscle
while visiting
in
the
this tail.
Hanzaki
It is just a
Institute
solid
was one of the most
mass
meaningful
of
experiences
power. Look at that.
the brave wilderness
Large
team and I
rudder
have
that
ever
helps this animal
had.
move through the environment, and also to
Approximately
quickly maneuver
41%
itself
of the
if it
world's
needs to
amphibian
escape from a
species are
predator.
threatened.
Now look at these flaps of
Giant
skin that run along the
salamanders
sides
are
of the
no
body.
exception.
They're actually able to absorb oxygen.
The
through
significance
those
this
flaps,
that animal holds in Japanese culture cannot be matched. And it was a true honor that we as visitors to this sacred land were entrusted with telling these stories.
These salamanders have 4 toes on the front feet.
Conservation efforts for the giant salamander are imperative for its survival. And if you would like to help, make sure to visit BushidoJapan.com to ensure that there is a future for these majestic animals.
When you get down to here, you'll notice all of the muscle.
If you missed our thrilling adventure into the mysterious world of giant salamanders, make sure to go back and watch, as we got this slippery amphibian up close for the cameras. And don't forget,
predator.
subscribe,
Now look at these
and click
flaps
the
of skin that
notification
run along
bell
the
so
sides
you
of
can
the
join me and the
body.
crew
They're
on our
actually
next
able to
wild
absorb
adventure.
oxygen through
What's
those
very
flaps, which
distinct
helps them to breathe
about
underwater.
this
First,
salamander
we're
is
gonna
compared to the
look at
hellbender is look at all these
feet
fleshy
here,
little nodules
the hands.
on the head.
Look at how
We didn't
big that
see
hand
that with
is.
the hellbender.
Now, these salamanders have 4 toes on the front feet, and on the back feet, they have 5 toes. Check that out. And those digits